Welcome to the film exploring Bunker 44, The Devil's Portal, which will take you on a dark journey with 360 VR technology, with narration of a story that will give you shivers you won't forget for a long time. This fact-based film will reveal the dark side of the world to you. Prepare for a deep insight into the dark side of human psychology and an understanding of how reality can transform into a nightmare. You're invited to cross the border of normality and discover the path to the devil. Part 1. The Road to the Bunker. It's the year 1999, in the heart of Silesia, where two young people transformed their naive fascination with the occult into something much more terrifying. These were the times when metal music, especially its darkest forms, was at the height of popularity. Many artists from the scene openly flirted with the occult, and some even professed dark forces. In Poland, during the last decades of the 20th century, the metal subculture enjoyed great popularity. For many young people, metal music was an entry into the world of black magic and Satanism. These young, eager for emotions, curious, and often rebellious people reached for forbidden literature, including the Satanic Bible. However, in some cases, this fascination crossed the boundary of common sense. This happened in Halemba, a district of Ruda Śląska, where a group of young people formed an active community, engaging in dark practices in a bunker, which became a kind of cult place. The bunker turned into an arena for black magic, dark symbols, substances, and other destructive behaviors such as sexual orgies. Satanist rituals also took place in the darkness of the bunker, and no one was aware of what was really happening there until a horrifying crime occurred. During a black mass, two young people were stabbed with knives and became victims offered to Satan to gain his special favor in hell. The group practicing these dark rituals turned out to be kind of a sect with many members. The master of ceremonies was Tomasz Zes, who led the rituals by reciting incantations and summoning demons. Meanwhile, his companions indulged in drinking, casual sex, and the atmosphere of mystery and darkness gave them courage. These were people from normal families, without legal conflicts, balanced in everyday life, with impeccable grades in school. However, Tomasz S. decided to cross the line and suggested to his fellow Satanist, Robert K., that they should sacrifice people. Initially, he chose a member of their group, Camille, and his then girlfriend, who was pregnant. Robert was not ready for such a dreadful act. He lacked the courage to commit it, especially to murder a pregnant woman. In these circumstances, Karina, Tomasz's ex-girlfriend, took her place. Karina was still in love with Tomasz and was aware of his Satanist interest. Fate had it that she was in Poland visiting her family because she usually studied in London. Their love was rekindled, and they started meeting in the bunker. One day, Tomas proposed organizing a black mass to initiate new members, Kamil and Karina. However, they were unaware of the dark intentions of their friends from the Satanist group, who had been preparing for this horrifying act for 6 months. Both murderers chose appropriate knives, daggers with black handles, and a horse symbol. On the night of March 2nd to 3rd, 1999, Robert, Tomas, Kamil, and Karina met in the bunker, specially prepared by Tomas S. Candles were burning, a pentagram was painted on the floor, and satanic symbols such as the number of the beast, 666, a red painted Confucius cross, the Amun-Ra deity symbol, and a Latin sentence adorned the walls. One of them read, "This double sacrifice is good for the place of 2 lives." Unfortunately, Kamil and Karina did not understand Latin, but they trusted their friends with whom they had practiced similar rituals before. Following Tomas's instructions, the young couple knelt inside the pentagram with their backs to each other and bowed their heads. Over them, Tomas and Robert recited incantations, and suddenly knives appeared in their hands. Robert thrust the blade into Kamil's body, who looked at him in surprise. At the same time, Karina's desperate cries for help echoed towards Robert, who was being stabbed by Tomas. Both received multiple knife wounds, each with a dozen or so blows. The girl suffered serious injuries to her hands, which were mutilated down to the bone. In desperation, both Kamil and Karina tried to fight for their lives. Lying on the ground, the girl tried to shield herself with her hands from further blows and grabbed the blade, but in vain. Each successive blow pierced her body. Death came amid moans, blood, and pleas. The perpetrators later admitted to the police that they were surprised at how difficult it was to kill a person. This emotional paralysis made them realize what they had just done. When they looked at the lifeless bodies in the pools of blood around them, Robert fled, leaving his friend alone. Trying to control his trembling, he wandered through the surrounding forest. Eventually, he returned to the bunker where Tomas ordered him to complete their plan. Therefore, they moved the bodies to another room and tried to burn them. The final stage of their plan involved committing suicide to receive the devil's freshly purchased mercy. Robert lacked the courage to kill himself and panicked. Fleeing, Tomas attempted suicide, but also failed to cross the ultimate boundary. He struck himself several times in the abdomen with a knife, but it was not enough to fulfill his plan. A horrifying crime that he committed was too traumatic, even for themselves. Injured, Tomas had returned home, where he confessed to his brother that there were 2 bodies in the bunker. The family informed the police, who had confirmed the report and immediately took action. Initially, Tomas tried to shift the blame onto his friend with his statements, as if he were solely responsible for everything. In the end, both admitted guilt. Both took lives, murdering innocent people and leaving their families in pain. For Tomas S. and Robert K., the time of judgment arrived. During the trial, Robert apologized to Karina's parents. Tomas S. also showed remorse in the courtroom, but it later turned out that it was not fully sincere. Prison officers intercepted a letter from Tomas in which he offered 100,000 units of currency to anyone who would free him from the prison convoy. and intimidate Robert's sister so that her brother would take all the blame. On March 31st, 2000, the district court in Katowice sentenced Tomasz to life imprisonment and Robert to 25 years of imprisonment. And here is the bunker that witnessed this terrifying tragedy. Today, it attracts researchers of paranormal phenomena and sensations. Although its entrance has been bricked up, there is no shortage of adventurous seekers who want to feel the dark aura of this place. We must not forget that it is not a place for sensation, but a sad place where two misguided young people lost their lives at the hands of their friends, and the perpetrators destroyed their own lives. If you're curious about the location of Bunker 44 and how its interior looks today, be sure to read the description included with the film. The history of Bunker 44 serves as a painful reminder that fascination with dark practices can lead to tragedy, and the pursuit of extreme experiences, some lose the ability to distinguish between reality and fantasy. What appears to be a fascinating adventure can turn into a nightmare, bringing with it dreadful consequences. Let's remember that the line between passion and madness is often thin, and the choices we can make have tragic consequences for ourselves and others.